Look at how blue it is outside, man. Anyway. Hi guys. I'm going out. If I look greasy, it's because I have sun cream on. Because it's very sunny, as you can see. I'm very nervous. I haven't left the house in like... Actually, that's a lie. I went out yesterday, but... like classes and stuff, I don't feel like it counts as much. But I'm very nervous because I have to pick up my prescription. And like... when I called them, the line was busy. And it has been for the past 2 days. And I'm like... I wanted to ask them if they had my prescription or not, but... I don't know. It's also just generally... people-y today. Lots of people. It makes me really nervous. I try not to get nervous, but like... I feel nervous around people anyway, but... I decided to challenge myself and not bring headphones. I also didn't bring a bag, so I have to go shopping later, so it's gonna make it kind of awkward, like literally just having my prescription out in front of everyone. Like, okay. I don't know, maybe I can put it in my pocket. I did it. I don't know how loud this is, but I did it. It was kind of mildly awkward, but you know, people. Being around people is mildly awkward for me. But anyway, there's people crossing. Today, I'm going to talk about all the things that I have found that actually help with depression. As I mentioned before, it's not going to be like a completely fixed, you're going to do this thing and then all of a sudden you're not going to have depression. It takes time, it takes work, it takes effort, and it is exhausting at times, but here are the things I've learned. The first thing is eating. I know that if you have depression, the likelihood of you having an eating disorder is like very much up there. I'm going to talk a lot about myself in this because I'm basing my ideas off of myself. So I wouldn't say that I have an eating disorder. I just have issues with eating. But it's not an eating disorder, okay? I don't like eating in front of people because I feel like they're judging me. I don't like buying food. I don't like having food on me. I don't like people seeing me with food. Because all of it just feels very, like, judgmental, I guess. So there's that, and then I also have texture issues, and I don't like a lot of food. So, and there's also the thing of like, food is such a pain in the ass. It's so exhausting. It's like, you gotta cook the food, eat the food, and then clean up. Like, it's so much less effort to just go, nah, I'm not eating, but eating is important, as I'm sure that many of you know, but you don't really know why. I'm not a scientist. I actually failed silence? I failed science. But in the most simple way I could explain, eating
gives energy to your body, which in turn gives energy to your brain. So if you're not feeding your body, you're not feeding your brain. And your brain is fucking stupid. Your brain controls your thoughts, your actions, if you're sat there and you're thinking, I don't know, negative thoughts. I'm not saying it's because you haven't eaten, but if you've ever been like really, really stressed and really, really overwhelmed and you've been like, I don't know what to do, I suggest eating something. The amount of times I've been so stressed, like I can't handle this, and then I eat something and I'm like, shit, I mean, all is well, all is fine. Also, I'm sorry that my face is really swollen today and puffy. I'm actually like, I'm not gonna say that, that's TMI. I'm not gonna mention my body weight, that's weird. I have a really big insecurity about having chubby cheeks. I am 20 and I have a baby face, and I always hear like these people, they're like, family members, they're like, oh, it'll be good when you're older because you won't look, there's also like a correlation between autistic people and having a baby face. I don't know what the validity of it is, but it always annoys me when they tell me that, because it's like, what about now though? As of right now, people who are attracted to me are very strange people. They're usually like, I wouldn't go as far as to say, but they often underestimate me and see me as this like weak person who they can walk all over because I look younger than I am and I seem more innocent because I'm quite, like, I have anxiety, so I'm quite anxious, and people tend to, I'm trying to find the right words, what's the word, babyfy? I was gonna say adultification, that's not the right word. When people kind of treat you differently, when they're like weird to you, like they treat you like a child. A lot of autistic traits are treated that way, like, oh, you're flapping your hands, you're stinning, like that makes you seem like a child, which I don't agree with, but other people tend to see it that way. So it's not just my looks that make me seem younger, it's my actions as well. I don't want to be that person that's like, I look like I'm about 14 and they look like they're 80, but I've been told by many, many people that I look younger than I am. Whether or not it's true, I have no idea. I have little to no perception of what I look like at all. I'm trying to work on it, but it's difficult because our faces change every day. Like I mentioned before, how my face is a bit more puffy today than usual. It's like, it isn't always like that. And, my eyelids tend to swell, and I have quite small eyes, at least I think so. And when I wake up, my eyes are swollen, like the eyelids. Might be dehydration as well, but again, the lack of water affects what you look like. What you eat affects what you look like, not necessarily from a gaining weight or losing weight perspective, but from like if you don't eat a lot of food, it kind of makes you look ill. Like your eye bags are worse than usual, I've noticed. One of the things I was researching for one of my characters is there's like these water people. And I was like, what would happen to your blood if, you were kind of dehydrated, if you didn't have any water in your system, and your veins like swell up and they become a lot more obvious and a lot more noticeable. And for me, I don't know whether it's because I'm incredibly pale, but my veins are like really, really obvious. It's difficult to show as well on camera, but like, I don't know how to show it well, but my wrist as an example. Or like my eyelids. are very veiny. I just dropped my paintbrush down the side. I don't know whether it's because I'm pale or whether it's just something else. I don't know. But I'm very, very veiny. And your veins become more prominent when you don't drink a lot of water. So not eating can make you look ill. So please eat. The other thing is sugar and dopamine. Now, sugar gives a temporary release of dopamine. In case you don't know, dopamine is basically the chemicals that make you happy. So if you're ever really upset, just have some sweets. It sounds awful. I'm not saying this is gonna fix your depression, and I don't know how many times I'm gonna say that. These things aren't gonna fix your depression, but they will help. They will either help over time or they will help in the moment. And if you do multiple, that will obviously increase the amount that it would help you. So sugar, I have a certain amount of sugar in more in the week, really. At the moment, I got these today. Haribo Gold Bears. And the thing is, right, it says share size. Who the fuck am I sharing it with? Little side note, I'm vegetarian, and I have been maybe 7 or 8 years, which I don't think it's healthy to be vegetarian or vegan. I'm gonna be so honest. I don't think it's healthy. I barely have any energy, and I think that part of that is because I'm vegetarian. Now, I don't eat meat because I have really bad texture issues, and also it kind of just creeps me out, like I'm eating an animal. I don't give a shit if you're not vegetarian. I'm not gonna sit there and be like, I can't believe you're eating a pig in front of... Like, I don't care. Eat whatever you want. Do whatever you want. It's your life. I don't care. But for me, I don't like to. I also feel kind of guilty when it's the same thing of like when I kill a bug. I'm like, having a fly in your room is kinda like it would annoy me. I have a really weird thing up around my ears. I don't like anything flying around my ears. It like really creeps me out. So I'm like, if I don't kill this fly, it's gonna piss me off, it's gonna stress me out, I'm not gonna be able to sleep. It'll be like a whole thing. But then I feel really guilty, and I'm like, a life is a life, no matter how small. And I have this really big, like, karma type of thing. I believe in karma. I believe it only applies to myself. I'm not gonna be that person who's like, babies being born with cancer is because they deserve it. Like, no. I believe that karma only applies to myself. Which, my ideology is if something good happens, it's either because if something good happens, it means I have done something good or will do something good that means I deserve it. Or it's because something really bad will happen or has happened to counteract it, to keep it in balance. And the same goes the other way around. But the thing is, it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy of like, I've done something bad, therefore something bad is going to happen to me. And obviously something bad is going to happen to me at some point. It's not because of karma. But anyway, these have gelatin in. I don't know whether they do anymore, but they always used to when I was a kid. Yeah. Gelatin. Which, it's kind of up for debate as to whether gelatin is vegetarian. I personally don't think it is because it's like animal fat and animal bones, but it's technically classed as a byproduct of animal stuff. So technically it's not vegetarian, but then also technically is I don't know. But I've been starting to eat stuff with gelatin in just because I want to, and I'm like, karma isn't real. Nobody's gonna murder you if you have gelatin. You're allowed to still label yourself as vegetarian. And if anyone ever has that go at you for it, then it's kind of just dumb. Like, who cares? labels literally mean nothing. Like, certain ones mean nothing. Anyway, the thing I wanted to mention, linking to food, is quick snacks. Depression means that you don't have a lot of energy. At least, like, that's one of the things. And making healthy meals is really exhausting, and even just making any meal is exhausting. So I would recommend looking up some easy, quick meals that you can make. As an example, I have two different examples. One of them, recently I've been making wedges with string beans. So all you have to do, slap the wedges, slap the string beans on a tray, put it in the oven. And then I put it in a bowl, and I get like a bit of butter, put it in there, and it melts because it's cooked, so it's warm, and then I put a bit of salt. It's so easy, and it's really nice, and it's not, for me, I don't like things that are too flavorful, I guess you could say, like overly greasy food. I don't know, I'm really autistic. What do you want from me? I like what I call safe food or soft food, which isn't soft in texture, it's soft in taste. And I tried explaining this to my parents, and they're like, what are you on about? I'm like, certain foods are harsh and certain foods are soft. And I explained, I was like, it's the type of food that you would have if you had a sore stomach, or if you maybe had a headache. And I gave some examples. I was like, toast, chips, tea, that sort of stuff. And they're like, oh, like bland food, like food that has little to no flavor. And I'm like, yeah. So the other example I can give you as far as a snack right now is frozen vegetables. So frozen vegetables are pretty cheap. All of these things are quite cheap. You know, I'm a student. What do you take me for? Made of money. You can get frozen vegetables and you put them in a mug, and you put hot water in the mug, put something over the top of it, like nothing with paper. As long as it's nothing with paper, you're fine. And that will like keep all the warmth in, and the hot water will cook the vegetables, and then you drain it out. And what I like to do is put barbecue sauce in it, so you end up with this mug of frozen vegetables with barbecue sauce. So you're getting vegetables, and barbecue sauce it's a bit sweet. I mean, you can use whatever sauce you want. I just like barbecue. So quick and easy snacks that don't cost a lot, that make sure you're getting the right vitamins and stuff. Bananas are apparently good for you because of I think it's like potassium or something. I fucking hate banana. Whenever I'm like, I need to start looking after myself more, my dad goes, you should have a banana. They're so good for you. Get it away from me. I don't want that. Even just the taste of it reminds me of the texture. And mushrooms too. The amount of vegetarian stuff that is made out of mushrooms is disgusting. I hate mushrooms. It tastes like dog food, which you may question, what does dog food taste like? I've eaten dog food before. Like the little pebbles. Don't ask me why. I don't know why I did it. I was a kid. It was yesterday. No. The other one is clean room, clean body, clean mind. So when a counselor says you should tidy your room or you should take a bath, and you roll your eyes and you go, how the fuck is that gonna get rid of my depression, you dumb bitch? So looking after yourself is a really important thing because it makes it seem like you are worth it. You're worth it. Work it. I feel like depression doesn't help our confidence. And if we don't feel confident, it stops us from doing a lot of things. We try and act as if appearance doesn't matter, but it does matter. In this world, in this society, as much as we want to argue that it doesn't or wish that it doesn't, appearances do matter. They affect the way people perceive you, they affect the way people act around you. They matter, okay? And if you're not looking after yourself, if you're not keeping a level of confidence, you'll see yourself as lesser. You'll see yourself as not good enough. And a lot of the times, even just subconsciously, when people aren't feeding themselves, aren't cleaning themselves, it's because they think that they're not worth it, that they're not worth that effort. Having a clean room, for me, makes me feel better. Because sometimes I'm like, I need to cook myself some food. And I'm like, but I haven't done the washing up, and I'm not even in clean clothes, and I haven't even gotten in the shower, and I have all this work to do, so what's the point? And it leads you to kind of make excuses, because it's like, well, what's the point? Like, my room's messy, and I have all this stuff to do, so what's the point in even eating? So, cleaning your room does actually help, in my opinion. Now, how to clean your room? Two different ways I have found is helpful. Number one is watching a video of somebody else cleaning their room and you doing it along with them, which I will get into the importance of media in a second. The other one is seeing it more as decorating. So I have lots of figures, as you can see, and I have shelves, and I prefer to see tidying my room as decorating. Like, I take everything off the shelves, I clean the shelves, and then I put everything back, but I'm like, I'm gonna decorate these shelves. So for me, that helps as well. The next one is media. So the media really affects our brain, obviously. So the obvious examples would be, my voice is so shaky. The obvious examples would be news and reality TV. Where it gets a little bit complicated for me as far as like the morality of it. I like to be aware of the world. I don't like to be ignorant of it. I think that I live in a level of privilege. Well, I know I live in a level of privilege, and I don't want to be that person that's ignorant to all the issues in the world. But equally, knowing about all the issues in the world is not helping my mental health, as well as the fact that I think that depression makes you more sensitive to negative things. So I'm more easily affected by bad news, and it's always bad news. It's never good news. And I saw this video, and it was like, it's because we inherently as humans seek out negative things. If the news was filled with good news, then nobody would watch it, apparently. I mean, I don't watch it anyway. I find it really boring and pessimistic, but I've never once watched the news and been like, yeah, this is great. Like, never. The only time I've ever watched the news and actually enjoyed it was when they do like the weather thing. And that isn't even like that entertaining. I just, oh, weather. What's the weather today? The other one is reality TV, like drama TV. I used to, can you tell by looking at me? I used to play Genshin a lot. And I moved on to play Honkai Star Rail, and now I don't play any of them. But it's always the same ritual with any game, any media, any frequently updated game that you like. You go on YouTube and you want to find a community of people who play the same games as you, and you find a couple of content creators who talk about the game that you like, and they talk about the new mechanics and the stuff in the updates, and they share their opinion. They're allowed to share their opinion. They can do whatever they want, but it's pretty much always negative. I would watch the update for Genshin, because they would give like monthly updates, in case you don't know, and they would do like a video that was like, here's the new update. And I would watch it and I would be like, oh my god, I'm so excited. Like, this new character's coming out and this new region's coming out, blah, blah, blah. And I'd be so excited. And then I'd watch the content creators and they would be like, this is the worst patch ever. It's a filler patch. It fucking sucks. And I'd be like, and they're allowed to share their opinion, obviously. And them having an opinion doesn't disregard mine. And I shouldn't, it's my fault that I take it as a more of a personal attack. Obviously, I don't get upset to the point where I'm gonna comment and be like, I liked the update, you fucking bitch. Like, I'm not gonna, I don't care that much. And I don't think it's their fault. It's just more because I'm depressed, I'm more sensitive. So when you say something bad about the only thing that's keeping me going right now, I'm gonna get upset about it. I'm not gonna make it your problem, but I'm gonna get upset about it. And these types of content creators, they also get into drama a lot. They'll say that they don't care about drama, but as soon as anybody's into any drama, there's a video out and they have gone into depth, and you'll have like these title videos of I quit, and like they're not quitting. They're making a joke about quitting, or whatever. And you watch it and you're like, oh my god. Or you'll see a video and it'll be like, so and so's a bad creator, and it turns out they've been, I don't know, abusing their girlfriend and unfairly paying their editors behind their back. And as much as it is an important topic of conversation to bring these things up and have this person be held accountable, in my pea brain, it's still negative media. It's pretty much the same as news, just maybe not war and famine. I don't even know what famine is, if I'm honest. But I feel like we don't realize as much that it is negative media, so I would recommend not watching that if you can. Also, if you think I look greasy, I have sun cream on. So, the other one is music, TV shows, and YouTube. Kind of talked about YouTube, but we'll talk about music. Music is a big one. I feel like sometimes when we have depression, we let ourselves be depressed because it's so much easier to just be depressed, complain about it, and do nothing about it than to actually pull yourself up off your ass and do something. Now, I'm not calling you lazy. I'm not trying to make you feel guilty. I'm just stating that sometimes we get into a state of comfort where sadness is technically comforting because you're used to it and you know it can't get any worse because you're already sad. The worst thing would be to feel better and then be put back into that depressive state again. Like, that would be so much worse. So it's so much easier to not try, because then you're not going to be basically let down. You're not going to have to rise and then fall. So music is a way, I think, that we let ourselves be sad. We listen to sad music, we think about a situation that's happened to us, or hasn't even happened. Sometimes when I was younger, I used to listen to music and I used to imagine myself getting into like a car accident and like losing my limbs or losing my family members and just crying about it. Like, I would just sit there with my headphones in and I would just cry because of this made up situation that I made that isn't even real. And or sometimes I'd like break my arm, and you want to think about that rationally and think like, it's probably because you wanted attention, which isn't a bad thing. Can we please stop acting as if wanting attention is a bad thing? Everyone wants attention to a certain extent, and when you're sitting there kind of wishing harm on yourself or imagining harm on yourself because you want the attention and the comfort that comes with that, you need to think about what that means. That means that you're not receiving comfort, or you're not receiving enough comfort, and you either need better friends. Like, that's the kind of thing we have to think about. So listening to sad music kind of puts you in this cycle of, it just makes you sad. It makes you sadder. It continues the cycle of making yourself upset, not only by the maladaptive daydreaming, but just generally by listening to sad music. So stop listening to sad music. I know that it might be your favorite genre or whatever, but try and branch out, try and find new music. What I like to do is I like to make playlist covers. I think I've made like 3 because I redid my playlist. In case you wanted any recommendations for music. Also, heavy metal kind of plays into this a little bit. It's making yourself angry. Now, obviously, I'm not saying you can't listen to this music at all. I'm just saying try and listen to it in like amounts. I can't remember what the right word is, but like in amounts. Heavy metal music is similar because a lot of the heavy metal music that I listen to is like, so-and-so did me wrong, screamy scream. So-and-so cheated on me, screamy scream. I was bullied when I was a kid, screamy scream. And it's like, yeah, I like the song, but it just makes me angry. It makes me think of all the people who bullied me when I was a kid. It makes me, that's a kind of cycle. So, my recommendations. I really like jazz. Can we be so real? I fucking love jazz. You liked it? No. Spanish jazz specifically. Frank Sinatra's really good. I think he's just general jazz. I don't know what they were Spanish. I like Japanese city pop. Recommendations. Henri, I think it's called like Timely or Lively or something, the album. It's like a blue and white album. Really good. There's one that's like called Junko something. If you like Messages from the Stars, that's kind of what city pop is like. Specifically, Japanese 80s city pop is really good. I can link the playlist in case you guys want. I also have playlists to fall asleep to, so there's that as well. I also like gothic synth pop, but sometimes it can be a bit depressing, so. And I like rock that's more upbeat, like upbeat rock. I like that. So, and then also what I call summer music. Really like summer music. So, there's that one Childish Gambino song. It's like, isn't it Numbers or something? Like 365 or something. Thinking the Katy Perry song. It's like, I don't know. And then the other one, I by Kendrick Lamar is really good. Positive music. So when like your parents are like, it's that damn phone. Kind of is. Or like when your grandparents are like, the violence in the games is making them violent people. I'm not saying it's making violent people, but I am saying it will kind of put you into a state of rage. So take with that what you will. TV shows on YouTube. Same sort of similar situation. TV shows, if you're watching really depressing TV shows all the time. I really like One Direct Priority, but it is about suicide. And it's like, it sounds stupid, but you kind of have to treat yourself like a child. Like, would you let a kid watch that? Then maybe you shouldn't be watching it. I'm not saying you can't ever watch these things. I just think that in moderation. That was the word. In moderation. Watching too many horror movies, that sort of stuff. Doesn't mean you can't watch horror movies. It just means like no horror movies before bed. Stuff like that. And then YouTube videos. kind of training your algorithm to show you things that are better. Now, motivation. Motivation is a really, really difficult thing with depression. What motivates me is seeing stuff that I want to do. So, on my YouTube, in case you don't know, I draw. I love to draw. But sometimes I forget that I love to draw. So I have trained my YouTube into basically only showing me either ASMR videos or sketchbook tours. So when I see a sketchbook tour, I'm motivated to draw. So if you have Pinterest or Instagram or YouTube, I recommend following a bunch of people that have similar interests to you, so you will feel more inspired or motivated to do those things. So for me, it's artwork, but for you, it might be, I don't know, knitting. So you follow a bunch of people and you like a bunch of knitting patterns and stuff. The other thing is, I guess we'll talk about ASMR. I love ASMR. It's what I class as a self-soother. Very good. I recommend it. My favorite ASMR artist, I really like ASMR Rebecca. I'll make sure to link these if I can remember. ASMR Rebecca is really good for like focus type videos, but I really like her light triggers. That's how I got my inspiration for my light seekers, which is a type of character. I like Kelly Belly ASMR. And I like this one person. I only found them recently. They're called like Tranquilily, or something like that. I think it's supposed to be Tranquilily. Their name is Lily, or it's something like that. I'll link it. Their stuff is so good. It's like ear cleaning and ear massages, but it's like, and that is something that will help relax you, which is good. The other thing is the link between anxiety and depression. I remember I was sat in this room with my disability coordinator. She described this to me and I was like, so I can't remember what the exact chemicals are called, but you have a certain amount of chemicals that are meant to deal with anxiety and stress. And then you have your dopamine. And when you've used all of that, when you're a very anxious person, you've used all the chemicals that helps you deal with anxiety. Your brain, your body starts eating away your dopamine instead, which will lead you to having depression. So a lot of people who have anxiety also have depression. So sometimes it's as simple as helping your anxiety, and then that will help your depression in turn. And then the stress is using up your energy, which also leaves you to feel really tired. Which about tired, I will quickly talk about rest. I watched a video, I will link it if I can find it, that was all about the different types of rest and how like sometimes when you're sitting there in your bed and you're like, I haven't done anything all day, why am I absolutely knackered? It's because of the different types of rest that you need in a day. I think there was like 7 or 8 different types of rest that we're supposed to get. And it's like social rest, bodily rest, mental rest. I don't know the specifics of it. I can't fully remember. But one of them that I found really interesting was exercise and how we need to move a certain amount in the day, and sometimes the rest that we need is actually moving around a bit. If you're in a job where you don't move around a lot and you get home and you're absolutely exhausted, sometimes it's better, instead of just sitting around, it's better for you to get up and move around, because your body isn't tired because it's tired. It's tired because you haven't moved. It's tired because it's sick of not moving. So if you're sitting in bed all day, maybe the reason why you're tired is because you're not moving, which sounds really contradictory, but I'll make sure to link that as well. Achievements, setting yourself mini tasks that make you feel better. Something as simple as, so for me, putting the washing in makes me feel better, or making my bed, or cooking myself a meal, or going in the shower, taking my bins out, that sort of stuff. It's achievements, relatively quick. It's also, for me, drawing my OCs makes me feel like I've achieved more in the day. If I sit there and I play games all day, I feel like I've wasted a day and I feel guilty about it. And I find it's really hard for me to fully relax and fully enjoy an off day because I feel guilty about it. So for me, drawing, for some reason, I don't feel guilty when I'm doing it. I think those are my main tips for depression and anxiety. I also think that if you have anxiety, then challenging yourself to do things actually does help. As an example, I will tell you guys some things I did recently. So I have difficulty leaving the house, but I did these things. So first of all, I was talking to one of my friends online, because I only have friends online. I don't have like actual friends. I was talking to one of my friends online, and they were like, oh, I know 2 people in your class. And I was like, I don't even know 2 people in my class. And he was like, oh yeah, you know them. They like you. They think you're cool. They do? Okay. So I hit them up. I messaged them and I was like, do you want to be friends with me? Like straight up just asked them, do you want to be friends with me? And they went, yeah. And I spoke to my counselor about it. And I was like, I'm kind of tempted to ask if I can switch to their lessons. So in my lessons, there's like 100 people. And it's split into like 5 or 6 different groups, I think. And I'm in a different group to them. But it's still the same content. It's still the same class. It's just at different times and in a different classroom. So I was kind of tempted to ask them if I could switch to be in their lessons. So I had someone to walk in with me because I don't like going to lessons on my own. I always overthink that I'm walking into the wrong room. I check my emails, no room changes. I check the timetable, definitely says this room. I check the date, it's this time. And I look at the door and I'm like, what if I walk in there and it's the wrong room? And I'm like, oh my god. I kind of tempted to switch to this person's lesson. And my counselor was like, yeah, you should ask them. So I asked them, I was like, hey, hey, I'm really anxious and I have a hard time coming to lessons. Can I switch to your lessons? They're like, yeah, sure. So I switched to their lessons and I went to lectures with them and it was fine. Oh my god. It was like my anxiety was gone. I was talking to them. They were laughing at my jokes. I was like, what is this? Who am I? Like, what? What's happened? As I was sitting down, waiting for them so we could walk to the lecture together, one of the people in my class who I follow on Instagram, but like I don't talk to in person, they waved at me. You like me? You like me? Like, what's going on? So I messaged them later. I took that as my way in. I messaged them later and I was like, do you want to be friends with me? And they were like, yeah, we can talk about our OCs together. What do you mean? And then they told me about this game night. There's this game night. And I was like, okay. And it's like set up by the uni. So I went to it and I spoke to them in person. And I spoke to another person in person that's in my class. And I didn't stay at the game night. 2 of the people who sat behind me were these people I used to live with who were abusive to me. So I felt really awkward and really, really anxious. But I stayed for an hour. Well done. Well done, Finny. You're doing so well. And then there was this guy that I used to be in a group with for group work, and I always felt like he didn't really like me. He told me he was like looking at my back, and I can't really remember how it came up, but he said to me, it was like, oh, you walk with a bit of a hunch. I was like, That's a really rude thing to say. Like, I barely even know you. Like, that's so weird. And he said to me, he was like, oh, I could tell you were autistic when I first met you. And I was like, that's not a compliment. I don't really know what that is. So I always felt like he didn't like me. And I was speaking with my, she's not my counselor, but she's like a advisor, I guess, because I contacted a lot of people in uni for support. I contacted disability support, and hopefully that will be started for next year. I got myself booked in for counseling. Like, I did a lot of work. I put in a lot of effort to try and get where I am now. And I was speaking to her, and we were setting up this safety plan because I struggle with self-harm, whatever. One of my counselors once told me to use ice and red food dye. And I was like, what do you want about? What do you want about, woman? So I was speaking to her, and she was like, is there any people in your class that, you think are kind of cute? And I was like, well, there's this one guy. Like, there's two guys, but this is the main one, because I know that he's friends with this other group that I think is really cool. But I've never had the balls to, say to them, I think you're cool, be my friend. Because for some reason, social etiquette changes from when you're a kid. And, when you're a kid, going up to someone and saying, hey, do you want to be my friend is perfectly fine. But when you're older, for some reason, it isn't. Even though I did it online to, 3 people. And they said yes, so, and I didn't hold them at gunpoint. I promise. So, she's like, I give you a challenge to find out his name, because I didn't know his name. It's like, okay, I can do that. I'm like, if anybody knows, it would be this guy that I used to be in the group with. So I, had to find his Discord and, request him, wait for him to accept, and it was this whole thing. So, then, I messaged him, and I'm like, do you know this guy in our class? And he says to me, as your friend. We're friends? We're friends? I didn't even know that. Oh my god, we're friends. So as your friend, he's not very well liked. He's really rude to the Chinese students. He's also Chinese. He's really rude to the Chinese students. He's been told off many times for being, rude and, arrogant and bossy. And I advise you not to have anything to do with him. And he said, I asked him, I was like, do you think I'm in his league? Because again, I have no perspective of what I look like. I have no idea. He's like, if anything, I think you're out of his league. Oh my god, really? I'm not an ogre? Oh my god. So I was like, okay. And then he gave me a link to his Instagram, and I requested his private, but he denied me. And I was like, fair enough, I never go to lessons. He doesn't know me. So I messaged his public Instagram, and it was sent to requests. Because I was like, bossy, I can deal with that. Bit of peace and love will fix this man. So I sent him a message, something along the lines of, I'm in your class. I think you're really cute. If you want to hang out sometime, no pressure. He still hasn't responded. Thank fuck. Tell me why. I was looking through this man's following. Looking through this man's following, and it's Donald Trump, Matt Rife, that one political guy that looks kind of weird. And then the Daily Mail or something, where their pinned video is all about how they hate trans people. And one of the things was an AI generated artwork in the style of Studio Ghibli of Ben Shapiro. And then there was this other one that he followed, some American person, and their video was about how there was this trans woman in the military, and I was like, oh my god, supportive? Nope, the video was about how she detransitioned, and the only reason why she thought that she was trans was because she was mentally ill. And I was like, my mental illness has nothing to do with me being transgender. So, this man I'm in his DMs. Like, hey, I think you're really cute. And I am this gay, trans, autistic, probably a furry, sat there in his DMs. Like, he hates me. If he ever reads that message, he's gonna explode. But I asked somebody out. I've never done that before. I've never asked anybody out before. So, well done me. Not only did I ask someone out, I made a friend doing it. What the hell? So, very proud of myself for that. He also only speaks, like he's Chinese, but he writes in Russian. And all of the songs he posts are Russian, which is a bit strange. And 2 people in my class, because I don't know many people in my class, 2 people were like, he's really arrogant. Like, he's really, really arrogant. And then somebody else told me, because there was this one time that we went to go into the class, but there was a class before us, and the teachers were like, no, you can't come in yet, we're discussing something important. And this guy came out of the class and seemed really upset, and like everyone wondered what it was about. Turns out that guy was getting told off because he was being an asshole to the other students. So it's not just a case of he was being an asshole, he was being that bad that people actually reported him. Multiple people reported him. Like, what? Anyway. Very well done for doing that. Very well done. And then I thought that we had another week left of uni. We did not. I was like, shit. I was gonna ask this other sexy guy out because I'm a whore. Anyway, so I haven't checked it recently actually. Hold on. Hold on. I sent an email to everyone in my class, like a full group email to everyone in my class. I had to go on Blackboard to look at the class register. Actually, I say everyone. The one person I didn't include was the fascist, the absolute homophobic fascist. So I sent an email to everyone in my class just basically saying, do you want to be friends with me? I like Transformers. There's like 100 people in my class. I think like 8 people responded. But like, it's the holidays. Who the fuck's checking their student emails? But that's still 8 people. I made 8 friends. I was like, I said, I have really, really bad anxiety and I'm trying to challenge myself to do things that stress me out, and I really wanted to make some friends. So I was wondering if anyone wanted to be my friend. I was wondering if anyone wanted to be friends with me. I can send over my Instagram. I really like Transformers. I got like 8 responses and they sent me their Instagram, and one person sent me their Discord. I've spoken to some of them a couple of times. And also at that game night, one of the people that I was sat next to that I made friends with was like, oh, I heard in the Discord that we're going to be playing this game on this game night. It was like Mario Karting or something, Super Mario Karting. And I was like, there's a Discord? So yeah, like one of the students set up a Discord. I think it's everyone that's on like a creative course, so it's not just our class, it's like game class or something. And they were like, I can send you I can show you the at for the person who made it. Yes, please. So I sent this person a message. They had like one of the Robins on their profile picture, so like we spoke about that for a bit. And they added me to this Discord, and I made a couple more friends, and I've been in this Discord, and I'm like, I'm so good at this people stuff. So challenging yourself. You feel better after you do it. Promise. Another thing that I forgot to mention is talking to yourself like you're a child. It's a bit of a weird one. It sounds weird. Like, what do you mean talking to yourself like you're a child? One of the things is speaking to yourself like you're a child. Not in like a weird way. In the sense of, would you speak to a child like that? Hopefully, you're not an asshole, and the answer would be no. As an example, I drop my toast on the floor, and I go, man, you're such a fucking idiot. It's like, If a kid did that, if a little 7-year-old little baby boy dropped their toast on the floor and looked up to you, little beady eyes, oh, I dropped my toast on the floor, would you like look down, you fucking bitch, like no, at least I fucking hope not. So don't talk to yourself that way. Yes, you're not a child. Yes, you don't have to speak to a child in the same way that you speak to yourself. But you could also use a friend as an example. Would you speak to a friend that way if they did that? Hopefully the answer is no. Also, negative speech eventually works its way into your everyday vocabulary. So you being a bitch to yourself will lead you to be a bitch to your friends. So if it's not for the sake of you, do it for the sake of your friends. Because I know sometimes it's really hard to like be nice to yourself because you think, this is stupid, you're stupid. It sounds really corny, but trying to see the positive in everything. Obviously, my dad died. Try and see the positive, you get a bunch of money. I don't mean it like that. I mean like, it's raining. Man, I fucking hate the rain. Instead go, I really like the smell of rain. Now, don't like bullshit it and go, I love the rain, because you don't. You might, but most people don't. Don't bullshit it and make up something that isn't true, because you're not gonna believe it. Your brain is stupid, but it's not that stupid. Think of it as trying to see a realistic positive about things. Or trying to see things as more funny than they actually are. I don't know. It's really windy. I hate wind. I hate the wind. It really stresses me out. I don't like how it leaves my hair with a weird texture. I don't like how it pushes my hair back because I think I have a big forehead, okay? Don't look at it now. I don't like it. So instead, when I'm out in the wind, I think to myself, I go, this is good because it's a challenge. Because if I can deal with this, then less windy days will seem easier. And that's true, because when I was younger, I used to be like, I don't know, a year or two ago, any wind, I'd be like, I'm so stressed out. Versus now, as long as it's not pushing me over, I'm fine. Like, I can deal with it, and I'm not stressed. So this is gonna be a long video. So let's end on a positive, okay? I have some drawings to show you guys. I don't know how much of this I showed before. Also, hold on. T-shirt reveal. I got it from Halloween Horror Nights in Universal. So let me show you my sketchbook. I don't know how much nudity is acceptable on YouTube. Probably none. So we have these ones and these ones. That one's a bit buggy, but it's fine. These ones, I was in art block when I made that one, but I like that one a little bit. If I cover that, it's fine. I think her jaw comes out a bit too much. That one, again, I think like the eyes are too close together, but it's fine. I referenced this one. See if I can put the reference here. The next page, so this one, I tried to do oil pastels. It went really, really minging. But yeah, this one, I don't know whether I'm allowed to post boobs. Oh my god. And then I also did this one, which I don't think is as good. But I'm really liking the fine liner I bought. Also, this is a more final design for them. Because I'm designing the different types of soldiers for my characters, because there's 5 different types of soldiers. This is something I can tell you. There's 5 different types of soldiers, and they're each based off of the 5 different elements, which is fire, water, nature, earth, air, and space. Space is the 5th element. Reference? No. It's like, what do you call it? I'll put it here. I can't remember the explanation for it or something. It's like a separate element or whatever. And I was thinking about the weaknesses and the strengths of each one. And then I thought, what if I make them have powers related to the 5 different senses? So, still a bit of a work in progress, but there is eyes, ears, throat, touch, and did I do scent? I don't think I did scent. Oh no, I did, but yeah. So throat one is all about like, I think it's, hold on, I wrote it down on my phone so I can't show it, is that they have really, really good hearing, but they're sensitive to loud noises they have really sensitive ears because of it. And I was looking at like the different powers that I could do, and one of them was like writing runes, and I think the other one was like visual illusions, and like perfumes, and like that sort of stuff. I'm still working on it, so it's not perfect yet, but very excited for that. I think I'm also going out tomorrow, so talking for like an hour and 15 minutes made me so sleepy. I'm so tired all of a sudden. I hope, look at the hair that's just like, I got it. I hope that helped anybody. And if you have any questions, be sure to let me know. I think that's everything. Bye guys.